morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all for being here today. This is a good day. We are talking about and bragging on the work of the Office of the Attorney General and KTHB. I am going to move your mic just a little bit so I can put my notebook up here, so I apologize. I promise you I'll talk plenty loud so you won't miss anything, Raleigh. Well, today I am pleased to announce that after several months of investigation and work from our Public Protection Department and the Consumer Protection, and notably we've got some of the attorneys and investigators in here who have worked on this case. I see Shannon Hollion and David McCoy, two of the attorneys who've worked on it. Shamika, who is here, that was the investigator that worked on this case. And so really huge accolades to the team at the Attorney General's office, our public protection. Today, the Office of the Attorney General, we filed a lawsuit against a woman by the name of Jean Butler, who has been acting as a money mule in facilitating a multi-million-dollar international sweepstakes scheme. We often hear from consumers and Arkansans and people across the country about receiving phone calls from individuals claiming that they have won a prize or a sweepstakes, and where does that money go? Who receives that money, and how does it go out of country to where it is difficult to obtain? And these unsuspecting Americans do not receive that sweepstakes, they do not receive that prize. Jean Butler is a 73-year-old living in Hot Springs, and she essentially helped to funnel money estimated at perhaps upwards of $6 million to scheme operators in Jamaica. Investigators found that she has been acting as a money mule since 2017. A money mule is someone who has been contacted by the scheme operators and is asked to accept checks, to accept cashier's checks, money orders, or wires into accounts that are set up. So Jean Butler essentially set up checking accounts or set up money accounts in various banks, accepted money from individuals across the United States as well as Canada, accepted that money. Then scheme operators from Jamaica were able to withdraw those funds. So she was a mule that simply opened up checking accounts, deposited the money into it from people who believed that they had won mega millions, won a prize, and that they were simply having to pay the taxes or having to pay a fee associated with that prize. Jean Butler would then allow someone in Jamaica to withdraw those monies. She talked, based on our investigators that met with her, she had a number of contacts in Jamaica, people that went by names. These are not actual names, but went by names that are pleasant sounding. Ben. She communicated back and forth with someone named Ben. It would be a text message and phone call. How did this come about? How did we learn this at the Attorney General's office? First, we received information that an elderly lady in Missoula, Montana had been schemed and had been sending money to a Jean Butler in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and those monies were being deposited. However, the woman in Missoula, Montana did not receive her millions of dollars of prize in the Mercedes-Benz that she had been promised by the individuals perpetrating this scheme. We were also contacted, the state of Arkansas was contacted by agencies out of Nebraska and Kansas. Our concerns about a Jean Butler who, again, had been receiving monies. So based on this information and working with our federal authorities, again, we interviewed and opened up an investigation into Jean Butler, and today we filed a lawsuit under the Arkansas Deceptive Trade Practices Act. Under the Arkansas Deceptive Trade Practices Act, Ms. Butler carried out deceptive and unconscionable trade practices. I'm going to read specifically from this. It is from the Arkansas Deceptive Trade Practices Act. States that it is unlawful to knowingly make a false representation as to the characteristics, ingredients, uses, benefits, alterations, source, approval, or certification of goods or services. And Ms. Butler engaged in prohibited conduct by knowingly acting in concert with other operators of the scheme to facilitate and carry out the scheme in misrepresenting that consumers had won a substantial cash prize and that they must pay taxes or other such fees to the defendant in advance of receiving a substantial cash prize. Jean Butler knew exactly what she was doing. Jean Butler accepted these checks. She opened up bank accounts. When the bank accounts were closed by the bank, she would open up another bank account. Do not let Jean Butler fool you that she was unknowing and that she was simply trying to help people. While Jean Butler may be a 73-year-old veteran, unfortunately, she became a deceptive actor taking advantage of Americans who had saved their entire lives to have this money. We hear about these sort of schemes every single day at the Attorney General's office. And now we are taking acts necessary to hold Jean Butler accountable. And I want to send a message to others who may be money mules. If someone asks you to open up a bank account to put money into it and so they can withdraw it, say no, that you will be held accountable. And for each violation under the Arkansas Deceptive Trade Practices Act, we can hold you accountable up to $10,000 per violation. There are numerous victims of Jean Butler and of this scheme. And so I am proud of the work of the Attorney General's office and filing the civil lawsuit against Jean Butler as a money mule. And with that, I'll be happy to take any questions.
You have a ballpark figure on how many people she did?
Roughly right now, I believe we have about 50 individuals. Again, they are from across the country. Based on the bank account information that we have and the various names on bank accounts that we have.
Why a civil case? Any criminal charges you can bring?
Well, again, we are working with